So welcome, everybody. We're going to do something a little different today. May 8th will mark the 1-year anniversary of the Above Board TV channel.
That's crazy. May 8th. So we've been around for a year.
Been around for a year. And so we decided to do something special.
Yes, special.
By going back and taking a look at 8 videos that shaped the channel.
Yeah.
8 videos that have a story behind them that you might not know. And so we're gonna try that.
Yeah, so 8 videos, about 8 videos, right?
Right, 8 videos about 8 videos, yeah.
Yeah, that did sound confusing when it
Very
came
meta.
out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So should we jump in with the first video?
Yeah, so you're going to choose 4 and I'm going to choose 4. So today we start with your choice.
Oh, my choice gets to go first?
Your choice gets to go first.
Well, that's special. We said it was going to be special, and that's special.
Yeah.
All right.
You're special to me. So.
Thanks so much. I think my first choice is going to be probably one of our most popular videos.
Sure.
Which is you playing a game with sharks.
I don't know that I want to revisit that, but...
Well, I don't care if you want to revisit it because we're going to revisit it.
All right.
Because it is special. It is one of the most special videos that we did.
It is. It was the most expensive video we've ever done. In some ways, an active production probably took us longer than any video that we've ever done.
Right.
And was definitely the most traumatic video for me, for sure.
Let's jump into the trauma.
All right, let's go. Here we go.
I mean, that is an impressive shot.
It is.
No matter how you cut it. Like,
literally everywhere around it.
We had an amazing cinematographer.
I mean, I do love how you say we're not faking this. Like we could have faked that shot. Like, it would have been impossible.
How exactly did I get here? Well, and the reason that I say that, although it hasn't been on the channel very much because we really just finished it in the studio, is we have an AR studio in which we could fake a lot of things.
Sure, yeah.
And so at the time I'm thinking, I got to be very clear that if you've seen other videos where we fake this kind of stuff, that this was not faked in any way. But yeah. Being thrown into shark-infested waters. Well, this started out as one of our ha-ha funny sketches.
It did.
Okay, it's that time again. We got to come up with a new idea
the boardroom
for extreme
scenes.
board gaming. Any ideas?
Well, I mean, considering that I jumped out of a plane last time.
Oh, did you? We never hear about it.
3 times. But since I did that, I think this one, it's got to be on you, my friend.
Oh, that's how this works?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a
How
handsome
about
man
we
right
do
there.
a game on top of a skyscraper?
So these scenes obviously are scripted out, but they're really based on the
Reality.
actual discussions that we've actually had. I mean, it was one of these things of you jumped out of a plane.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And it was like, and silly me, in the way the real conversation went is like, I'll swim with sharks.
Well,
Thinking that would be something that I would be comfortable with. I had no problem with sharks.
Well, and also, like, you talked to great lengths about how good you were at scuba diving.
Well, not good, but I had done it before.
I remember you talking about how good you were at it.
So I've been married for 20 years now, and on my honeymoon 20 years ago,
Right.
my wife and I were in Hawaii, and we took scuba lessons in the sea.
Okay.
And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Had no issues with it, and I was like, oh, I can hardly wait to
Do this again.
and have the company pay for it. I was excited about it. Thought that would be so much fun.
Like Empire State Building or something.
No, I'm afraid of heights. No.
Which, of course, means we're going to do a heights thing at some point.
Okay. We're not doing heights. I am really afraid of heights. It's not happening. I don't know where we'd find one or what we'd do on it.
We get SpaceX to send you to Mars to play Terraforming Mars.
How would I get back?
Still on the whiteboard. That might happen.
You know, it's a shame that we can't just like play a game underwater surrounded by sharks.
Yeah.
Wait, we're playing a game underwater.
I do
with
love
sharks?
how in the script we gave Shay that idea.
Yeah.
As if he came up with it.
No, don't worry. That would be incredibly. I bet Shay wish we hadn't, because Shay was one of the sickest people on the boat, but we'll get to that. Expensive.
Oh, I'll pay for it. We are playing underwater with sharks.
Okay. I don't know how to scuba dive.
You'll learn.
this is exactly almost the way this conversation went with Corey.
Yeah.
When Corey was like, "Oh yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, there's all these problems." And he's like, "Well, doesn't matter. Just throw money at it."
What game would we play? I mean, generally board games are cardboard games, and that. What did he?
Hi, Chip Theory?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, this is Corey. Is Josh there? Oh, any of them. Yeah, Josh, your games are waterproof, right? So how do you feel about playing?
So there are multiple Joshes at the company.
Yes. The company, in fact, two of the main people are both named Josh.
Josh.
So that was that little inside joke of any of the Joshes we could talk to.
Water with sharks. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, they're in.
Extreme gaming! Hold on, though, because if we're going to do this, we would have to do it in, like, the Bahamas or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we talked about 5 different places
Right.
of where to go to do the sharks. And part of it came down to, at first, so when we pitched this, I thought I was going to be in a cage. I thought I was going to be in a shark cage. That's
Right.
how I saw this, was being in a shark cage, having, some kind of a table within the shark cage and playing that way. And so we went with all the different great whites and all the different places that we would go to get these sharks. And this was really being organized by Kurt, who was already a certified diver and a professional diver. Like he in his younger years, I mean, he wanted to be an oceanographer and a marine biologist. And so, I mean, he really was quite experienced. So he kind of took this over and ended up with the Bahamas. Now, what he didn't tell me was, they don't do shark cages in the Bahamas until much later. So that's how we ended up in a shark
the
cage.
Tickets had been bought.
Literally up to 2 weeks before we went, I still thought we were going to be in a shark cage. So, true story.
Yeah, agreed.
And first class.
There's other classes?
Well, if I'm doing it, then who's doing it with
Solid
me?
Corey
'Cause I can't
joke.
jump into the ocean and play a board game with biological killing machines by myself, can I?
Well, I did jump out of a plane by myself.
Tandem. You had a guy. So who's gonna do it with me? Shay? Huh?
I would. I'm allergic to sharks.
Are you?
Yeah, but it's hives.
Oh,
it's
that's
a threat.
How do they test for that?
Carefully.
Mariana?
I don't work well under pressure.
Like ocean pressure or just pressure in general?
Both.
Okay. Corey?
I only swim in money.
Like Scrooge McDuck?
Who?
Okay. Leif, you want to do it?
Yeah,
I jumped out of a plane. Yeah, okay. All right.
You would have done it, though.
Oh, yeah.
You
in a heartbeat.
kind of wanted to do it.
I'm disappointed that I didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, in retrospect, if we could go back in time, because pretty much after that, we do all the extreme stuff together.
Yeah.
But at that point, we were kind of doing a you do one, I
back
do
and
one
forth,
thing.
yeah.
I kind of wish you had two.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's great. I would totally do this, but if nobody's willing to do it with me, I'm afraid...
I'll do it.
There he is.
That's nice of you.
I'm a certified diver.
Okay, but
I've been diving for 38 years.
That just says something about how old you are.
I would take a shark for you.
And he would.
Yeah. That's my son's favorite line in the whole thing. Every time he sees it, he cracks up. I should also say, one, and this may come up again when we do these, Kurt really was the sound guy.
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks that's not, he was the sound guy. Yep. And since he's moved on, he got married, and his wife works with the musical Frozen, and they travel. So unfortunately, he's not here anymore, and we love him very much, and we wish him well. But this sequence in this video solidified the boardroom bit in extreme videos, because I was ready to kill the boardroom.
I was too.
Yeah. Because I thought, everything else that we're doing kind of seems,
more real.
More real, and we're out there and it's active. But the reaction to the boardroom in this video we got so many positive reactions to the boardroom bit itself.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I don't think we can get rid of the boardroom.
Yeah.
So boardroom has been in every extreme video.
That's how you can change our channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, he's a guy.
You're gonna be great.
Oh,
Chum.
Ha ha ha. So what you did there?
Extreme gaming!
Catchy.
Okay, after a 6-hour.
What are you doing to that shark?
I'm blowing up the shark. Yeah. Which is funny because like we had all these funny bits planned.
Yeah.
on the computer.
Then it didn't get funny for a while.
I've been taking a very long course today in this pool. I'm hoping that I won't drown here, because if I drown here, the journey completely ends, and we're not making it to any sharks. Of course, there's an upside to that, in that we won't be making it to any sharks.
Was there a duck in that pool?
Maybe.
Okay, so
We had all kinds of like silly stuff that we thought we were going to do.
No,
that
I
day.
thought I saw a real duck floating in that
Could have
pool.
been a real duck. I don't know.
so spin it. Sure.
He wasn't a Hollywood duck. He was an unintentional extra.
I got it.
Just spin it. Rub it around really good.
Okay. You notice when Leif jumped out of a plane, he didn't have to spit on anything he was doing in the air.
Well, not on camera.
Not on
anyway.
purpose. Oh boy, that was.
Sign on the easy carrot tag.
Yeah.
Woo! That last step is doozy. Looked like I ate Jack Cousteau. Oh, you kids. Jack Cousteau is a guy who used to be in the water doing aquatic adventures.
If there's anything we do excellently here at this channel, it's topical
Topical
jokes.
references. Yeah. Yeah. We're always up with the things the kids say these days.
Hippest comedy you'll find.
Yeah.
Way before you were born.
Even the term hippest.
I know.
By the way, my favorite part of the
Waiter, there's a Travis in my soup.
first thing it said was, human beings do not generally live underwater and cannot breathe while doing so. Rule number 1, don't try to breathe underwater without equipment.
Hey, there's the shark.
There's a shark. Made it into the video.
Your best friend.
You, and you'll be in the right position. You're doing good, Travis.
You're doing it.
So how bad was this?
Stopped being haha funny in 3, 2, 1. So we make it look better than it was.
Yeah.
One of the things that it looks like here is that I was doing things for a little while before I had a panic attack.
Right.
The first time I went underwater, I can't remember what it was that I think I slipped and like ended up underwater, and I wasn't quite ready yet.
Okay.
So I took in a little bit of water, and I got up, but I mean immediately, the first time I went underwater, I had a panic attack.
Ah.
And
So these are you trying to get through the panic attack?
yes, some of this stuff is a little bit afterwards of me trying to get better, but and if people out there have never had a panic attack, so basically your body has this fight or flight mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And a panic attack is where that's been flipped on as if you think that you are in mortal danger and either have to fight someone or run away. And your heartbeat like speeds up, and it's a really awful feeling. You feel like, because your body's telling you, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Go, prepare yourself. You're going to die. And it was intense.
Yeah.
And I don't have panic attacks. Like, this is not something that happens to me on a regular basis. This was like really weird to me. Like, I was afraid am I having a heart attack or what's going on? I don't know if I can do this.
Do what?
I don't know if I can do this. I'm having a little bit of a panic attack right now. Yeah, that's
A little bit.
right after, yeah. Yeah.
Breathe out all the way. Exhale all the way.
I didn't think this would be a big deal, but boy. So right before you started thinking those thoughts, what crossed your mind? What are you thinking?
I was thinking, hey, I wonder if I'm claustrophobic. That's what I was thinking.
It'll fix it.
I don't know if
spoiler.
your dive instructor expected to be a therapist on that day.
Yeah. Spoiler, I am claustrophobic. And apparently the claustrophobia was affected by the idea of going underwater and not being able to breathe.
I didn't expect for that panic action. I was absolutely didn't expect that. That became very unfunny real quick.
Oh, but we're laughing now.
Well, and I'm putting like the best face I can on it because there's a camera there.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
So I'm trying to like play this off a little bit, but inside I'm like, well, this isn't happening.
Well, not only is there a camera there, there's a plan for the channel to do this. Like,
Right.
we've already put a lot of effort into this at this
And
point.
I'm supposed to go to Catalina in 2 days to do my ocean certification.
Right, because this
at
was
this
supposed
point.
to be a much more truncated timeline.
Yeah.
Where, like, you go in here, you test the waters, literally,
Yeah.
and then you go off and you get recertified.
Because I'm thinking 20 years ago, I've done this. Like everything he's going to test me on, I've already done and enjoyed it. I did not enjoy this.
I don't know why, but I'm feeling panicky.
I had a panic attack like 5 times in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a natural mechanism that says, hey, we're in danger.
And can I say, both my dive master and my dive instructor that are there were so good with me. I mean, they were gentle, they were kind, they were they're just very human with me. And
Understanding.
It's if you're in the Los Angeles area and you want to learn how to dive, I can't recommend them more. They were such an integral part of me being able to get through all this.
And when our brain senses we're in danger, it's going to trigger us to either leave, get away from this thing,
Fight or flight.
or with us, it's going to be pulled us to the surface, and that's the way we intercede the panic. We get in between it by just thinking. And
Look at that shark just mocking you.
I know.
to fix our size, sure.
Well, you notice there's no cute little bits with the shark or anything. Like the idea of what we were going to do that day immediately flew out the window.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do any little bits. We didn't do any little funny things. It was done. We didn't do any of it.
We have all those sharks on the shelf.
Yeah, we do. We still have them.
Is there anything that you can think of specifically that your brain is saying,
I'm panicking about because I'm thinking about that I'm going to doing this in open water.
leave the water?
In 2 days. So it's just freaking me out.
It's like learning to ride a bicycle. You don't take your first bicycle ride with training wheels talking about, well, I want to ride with no hands in traffic while I juggle things. And
And then
You
again,
should never do that.
That's why I think like I was having a panic.
All you
attack 'cause I was
bicyclists
thinking,
out there,
I
do
gotta
not
all
do that.
this, And I have to play a board game. Long story short, we've discovered that I'm a little bit out of shape.
And that's the other thing that we don't really talk too much about there. So, I'm having panic attacks. I'm tooling around the pool, and on top of that, I'm cramping up, and like my body's going, "Hey, the most exercise that you've had in the last few months is, walking between the fridge and the living room." And I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe how much my legs hurt and my back hurt just from like trying to, flipper my way around that little tiny pool.
Yeah.
And by a little bit, I mean completely. So I'm going to train for 1 month on a treadmill, and
2 months. It ended up being 2 months.
I'm going to try and actually lose some weight. But more importantly, I'm going to get my endurance up. And then we're going to get back in the pool and try this again. We're not going to Catalina in 2 days. That's
When I told the instructor, I said, I don't think I'm going to Catalina in 2 days. And the guy said, oh, thank God. Because he said, I was really worried that you were going to insist on going to Catalina. And he literally said this, I was afraid you would have a heart attack and die.
Oh, God.
Like he says, I really didn't feel you were ready to go to Catalina, but he wasn't, what's he going to say? But
Right.
he was so relieved that I decided to push it
not
off.
happening. But we'll push this off probably for a good solid month. And then we'll see where we are there.
2 months.
Cue workout montage.
I actually spent the next 2 months every day on the treadmill.
did not have hair and makeup on set that day.
No, I didn't have any hair and makeup. A lot of those are just when I got up. I was on the treadmill in the morning and at night. And I should mention, this is I'm sure this is not the case with you. This is the first time in my life that I exercised on a regular basis. Where I had every day I had a routine that I was starting to do stuff. Yeah. And training in the pool 3 times a week. The fear got better, but it was still there. So 3 times a week, I would go out to the pool, put on the equipment, and have a panic attack, and then go underwater.
Right.
Every time. Never didn't have a panic attack. Until right toward the very, very end did I get to the point where I could be in the pool, go underwater, and not have a panic attack. Right. And what I did is I started to, right before I would go to bed every night, I would close my eyes and I would visualize myself going underwater, have a panic attack, to try to get to the point where I could visualize myself going underwater and not have a panic attack. Yeah. And it took me about a month and a half. Yeah. That's why I was so pleasant during that period of time to be around. Because every night I was having panic attacks. A lot of you out there who play games, you look more like me than Leif.
What was that supposed to mean?
That means like that you're in incredible shape and you're an active person and I'm not. That's what that means. Trying to do this, there are a couple times that I almost stopped because it's been a lot of work and and there was. I mean, I talked to you because a couple times and I said, look, can you do this? Because I don't know that I can. Yep. And we talked about that a lot. And, in fact, you told me a story afterward that was all said and done that Kurt called you up just a few days before we went. And what did he say to you?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember that? Because you told me that you said that Kurt called you up and said, listen, I don't think Travis is going to be able to do this. Yeah. Like you need to get ready. Like, can you come out? Can you get ready to perhaps come out to Catalina?
Yes.
Because I don't know that this is going to happen.
Right.
Tough. Even though those of you who haven't said so directly, I feel your support, and I really hope I don't let you down. I hope that I am actually going to be able to pass all these tests that I'm about to take, and that I've gone far enough to get in well enough shape to do it. That was the hardest part. Okay. The hardest part is I was worried that I was going to let the crew down. I was going to let the show down. It was kind of came down to my son. It was, do I want to have my son who's 10 see me quit when it got really hard, or did I want to have him see me do it even though I was scared?
Hey, there's a positive reason to have kids. Yeah. They push you to do stuff.
They push you to do stuff that could kill you.
This is the second try at my pool certification, and of course, fate has decided that Hurricane Hillary is now bearing down on us.
Yep.
This is the first time in almost 100 years that Los Angeles has been hit by a hurricane.
And only the first time of 2 that we had to do this with a hurricane. We later also had a hurricane when we shot it in the Bahamas.
So, there's that. Since the last time that you saw me, I have lost almost 50 pounds. It's a little hard
I've lost 65 at this point.
to tell because of my...
You mean today at this point?
As of today, I've lost 65 pounds.
Tremendous girth, but I feel much better. It's much easier to get in and out of the pool and in and out of my gear. So hopefully that's going to be enough to not have me die.
And it was the same team the whole time.
Yes.
Same
So what you're
dive
saying
team.
is it's really important that I have a tight seal on this, and that I probably have to shave off the beard.
Aww.
Because the problem is,
Baby
I shave
face.
off the beard, 1, I look 12, and 2, I look even fatter.
Yeah.
So,
I hate not having a beard.
right, and wear it all the time. I suppose it's beard or death. All right, so where's David?
And it was close.
There. All right. Spin us up. The only thing.
Look at just how different you look already.
Oh God. So my son, after he saw me take my beard off, he said, "You look like Family Guy." Peter Griffin. Yeah. Thanks, son.
Keeping me going here. No matter how bad I look, I'm still going to look better than Kurt when he shaves his.
Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. There are many other reasons to hate me.
The hills have
Fester.
eyes.
Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester, I thought the hills have eyes when I see that.
So creepy. Yeah.
You need a light bulb.
You're a champ. You just wait to see. Hey, I mean, look at Kurt. If Kurt can do it,
That's the.
I did not have a panic attack for this test.
For this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one, actually, I'd been in the pool so many times that in my own pool that I was very relaxed.
The reason this is happening is they said if Kurt can do it,
And felt great the whole time. Didn't get tired or
then
anything.
anybody can. That's right. Thanks to the guys in Hollywood Divers, I passed my pool test and I was off to Catalina for my open water certification. I was terrified.
I haven't been to Catalina in so long.
Oh God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. 20 minutes or more, 20 feet or deeper. So we didn't bring a crew to Catalina. This footage, there was a friend of my dive instructors was there, and she took almost all the footage that we have here. And I was so scared during this whole thing. And because they asked, do you want to take a crew? And I said, I don't want to deal with it. Like, I don't, just got to let me concentrate and do this.
So this was more of a personal day for you, of just seeing what you could
personal
do as a person.
is 3 days. Yeah. And I wish we had brought a crew because it would have been an interesting. We didn't know what kind of video this was going to be yet either.
Sure, yeah.
If I'd known it was going to be more about the journey than the shark itself, I think I probably would have brought them. But I did 4 or 5 dives. I can't remember which. I think I just said it. So, but I kept thinking, well, certainly once I've done this once, it will no longer be terrifying for me. And once I got under the water, especially at the bottom, I was fine.
Yeah.
But getting in the water every single time, panic attack.
Oh.
Just terrified. In fact, they left most of the really difficult, because they have all these things that they have to test you on. So they all these different things that you have to take the mask off and
It's like it's like worst case scenarios.
Right. All these things. And so and a lot of it was like, okay, somebody lost their oxygen, so you got to free dive down and bring them back up in one breath. Wow. That was one of it, where I couldn't have additional oxygen and stuff like that. And so they left all of that until the very last dive that I was supposed to do, because you have to have so many dives before you can get certified. And so I did all that and was able to do it successfully. And I was super tired. And it was earlier in the morning, so the sun hadn't come out yet. And he's like, okay, that's great. Now we just need one more dive. So just put on your mask and we'll do this dive and we'll be good.
Without having to do any tasks or anything.
Well, most of my tasks were done.
Yeah.
At any time during the process, they'll ask you to do a task.
I see.
But this was like the last of all my dives. And I looked down, and because the sun isn't out, I can't see the bottom. Mm-hmm. It's just inky blackness. And I'd done all this really physical stuff, so I was pretty tired. And I just went, it's the only time in the whole weekend that I went, no. Nope. We're going to the shore. I don't care if this is my last dive. We're going to the shore. We're going to wait until the sun comes out. Because I just looked down there and my brain was just like, there is no holy way in hell that you are going into that inky blackness. No. Still, toward the very end, just no. My body still was like, nope, you're not going to just relax and enjoy this.
Man, we got some great footage there.
It was the first time I had ever been underwater in the ocean.
Look at you like a mermaid.
Yeah.
After 2 days under the sea, I passed.
Gas.
And then, 3 days later, it was time for the real thing in the Bahamas.
Yeah, and then Yeah, because Catalina, and then we were just going.
Yeah. Tickets had been bought. Somebody had to go to the Bahamas.
So the day before we went to the Bahamas, I don't remember if you were aware of this or whether, because you were getting ready for Iceland.
Yeah.
But the day before we left the Bahamas, we got a call from the company that had the boat and everything.
The charter.
The charter.
Okay, yeah.
And they said, we're going to need to move the dive one day because there's a hurricane off Florida.
Of course there is.
And the conditions are not going to be what you want them to be, not for a beginning diver. So we're going to have to move it one day. And we had planned for that to maybe be a possibility. So we planned that within the trip, but we had never talked to the underwater cinematographer about it. So Kurt then called the underwater cinematographer and said, we're going to have to move this a day. And he said, well, that's a problem because I leave the country the next day. So I can't do it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're literally the day before we're about to get on a plane going back and forth. And I said, well, somebody is going to have to or we're just going to have to call this off.
Yeah.
And the problem is we were kind of at the edge of the season where we could do this at all.
Right.
So it wasn't just we were calling off the dive, we were calling off the shoot.
Yeah.
After all this time and all this energy and all. So that day was a pretty tense day. And eventually the charter company came back and they said, well, we can do it, but you're not going to like it. And they were right. The Bahamas were amazing, by the way. I highly suggest anybody go there.
Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Hey, Travis. For coming.
Good to see you, Travis.
All right. So as you can see, we have the Chip Theory guys here, Josh,
The Joshes.
Andrew, and they've come here to make sure that when we're playing Too Many Bones underwater, it's doing it correctly, right?
That's right, yes.
Excellent. Now, so you guys have heard that there's a hurricane just 150 miles from us.
Yes.
So that means the sea's going to be a little choppier than we first expected. I'm not worried about it.
A little
I don't get
choppier.
seasick, but
I just said, I don't get seasick. Now, I grew up on an island in British Columbia called Prince Rupert. I was on a boat from the time I was 3.
Yeah.
I worked on a ferry at one point as an entertainer. I literally don't get seasick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody here have a seasickness?
I think we'll be fine. We got Dramamine. We're good.
Okay.
Wasn't worried about it.
We're good. Excellent.
Sounds like nobody was.
Go watch me feed myself to sharks?
Yes. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. Okay, I'm here with Josh and Josh from Chip Theory Games. I'm here with Andrea, who's going to be dive instructor and kind of the master when we're on the boat today. Since we're going underwater with Too Many Bones Unbreakable, this is neoprene. And neoprene, as we have discovered, floats. We are going to have to staple the components of the game down to make sure that they do not float away. Is this the configuration you guys think?
That works.
This is the way to go?
Yeah.
And we got the baddie. We're going to be fighting rock and roll here, which is...
So we chose which baddie we were going to fight, and Kurt and I, when we were testing all this stuff out, we tested it in my pool. So we had played this scenario underwater 2 or 3 times already to try and... I should mention that we played it and we tested all this out in our pool, which of course doesn't have seawater in it. And we discovered when we got under the water, which is a great time to discover it, in the moment, that the dice, while they would settle in fresh water, were neutrally buoyant in seawater.
That's great.
So we would roll the dice and they would just float. And so we'd have to take them and push them down to the table every time.
I'm told the shortest game that we could possibly play is with rock and roll. Time may be of the essence when we're down there. Okay, Andrea, let's start with the magic.
A short game of Too Many Bones is still about an hour and a half.
Yes.
Under the best conditions.
Yeah.
Anybody ever done this to one of your games before?
No.
Well, not that they know of.
Yeah.
Honestly, with my full heart, thank you guys for making it so each space here has a chip that you have to turn over. So when you guys were making this game, did you ever at one point think to yourselves, we're going to play this underwater at some point?
Yeah, no.
No, really? That's the first thing I thought when I played it. Yesterday we were doing this to Twilight Imperium 4, so if you think this takes a lot of time, just stapling that thing to the table was like 6 hours. All right, I think that's good. I think.
Yes. Look at that.
Played Twilight Imperium 4 on the Vomit Comet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
I think everything's there. Beautiful. All right, well, thank you for coming out, and I think we're done, right? We don't, we're good. Very close. Oh, we still have to play the game. That's right. Yeah. Sharks and all.
Ruminate sharks.
There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of that ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew harder, bow dip down, blow me, bully boys, blow.
So on this upcoming shoot, my job was going to be the rules expert. I was going to be following along, make sure they're playing by the rules. But because they were able to staple the reference sheets onto the table, I don't really have to do that anymore.
The other reason why he wasn't doing what he was supposed to originally do is, so we had masks that were designed for the two of us to be able to talk underwater.
Right. With walkie-talkies built in.
With walkie-talkies built in so that Kurt and I could talk underwater. Kurt's walkie-talkie didn't work, and we couldn't get it to work. So Kurt and I couldn't communicate, and Kurt couldn't communicate with the surface. Only I could.
I see.
So we had to kind of adjust how we were going to shoot it.
You learned ASL in no time flat.
Well, it's funny that you should say when you learn how to scuba dive, they give you a modified version of ASL.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a scuba ASL, where you learn a bunch of hand signals that are specific to diving. But so I knew that stuff, but
It's okay.
It's not the kind of language designed to play too many bones with.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I do have another job on the boat, which is to become violently seasick. What about you? What are you doing on the ship?
Oh, I'm on drink duty.
Oh, cool. Hey, you give me a ginger ale? Because I'm already starting to feel it.
No, I don't think you understand.
So Mariana and Steve the cameraman were the only two members of our crew that weren't throwing up like crazy for the rest of the day after this shot. Right now we're still in the cove, so it's not choppy.
Got it.
Shay threw up 3 times. Charlie, our sound guy, threw up 5 times.
5.
Anybody get bit that you've taken out? About myself? Yeah. No. It's good to know.
Anytime since you got bit.
I'm gonna tell you later.
Okay.
But
No offense. I don't mind if he gets bit. I'm worried about whether I get bit.
and you do look the tastiest of everybody there.
I do. I think a shark would look at me. I have that kind of well-marinated manatee look.
Mm-hmm. Let's not talk about getting bit by sharks.
that was real, by the way, because they kept going on and on. I'm like, you know what? Let's stop talking about getting bit by sharks.
Did you not ask the question?
I did at the beginning. What you can't see there is like 10 minutes of talking about getting bit by sharks. That was the point where I was like, all right, let's stop talking about this. It's starting to get to me. There's Captain Steve.
I almost never get seasick, but I'm nervous, so.
I threw up 3 times. First time I've ever thrown up on a boat.
Yeah.
Awesome. You're very funny. This is the last time you're ever going to be on the show.
So Mariana, God bless her, was sitting next because I started getting to the point where I wasn't talking very much.
Yeah.
Because I was back in terror mode.
Right.
And she was just like, breathe. She was going through visualization exercises with me. She was being so nice. She was doing her best to help me, and she could just see that. She said I had that look in the eyes that, where I'm not really looking at any one thing. I'm that kind of deer in the headlights focusing away kind of thing. It was like, ugh.
150 miles from here, there's a hurricane on Florida. So the seas are a little choppier.
The camera doesn't do justice to how bad it was. Like, you can see a little bit from but you see that angle.
Yeah.
Like, it was so choppy.
Yeah.
Like, we were moving up 5-6 feet. Like, it was so choppy.
Hey, consistent any choppy is bad.
Yeah. It was rough. And I was you're supposed to focus on the horizon, and it wasn't helping.
Because that's just kind of how this has been going. The sharks are here. 20 pounds. And I was just told they're very excited.
What was the Sharks' call time? Were they on time?
Sharks call time. They actually sold up early.
Okay.
They were professionals.
Yeah, professionals always.
Yeah.
Well,
central casting, you know.
They were told that the meals were arriving.
Yeah, exactly.
The cinematographer,
it's one hell of a meal penalty.
No, it's copy, credit, and meals only.
Exactly.
Like that's what they were getting paid.
Talking a lot of inside baseball here.
wearing armor. The only two people who aren't wearing shark armor down there, me and Kurt.
So talk about shark armor. So there was an issue because we were testing. Kurt wore gloves because Kurt cares more about his safety than the show.
Which is not a bad attitude to have.
Right. But we were testing it and we couldn't pick up the chips with gloves on. It was almost impossible.
Can't play a chip theory game without chips.
Exactly. And so I asked the guy, can I get away with not wearing gloves? The dive master. And he's like, well, sure. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? He's like, yeah, okay, here's the thing. See this? To a shark, that looks like a fish.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm going to be over there. I'm going to be feeding him fish. So that should be fine. But keep your hands down. Just don't wave. Don't do any, don't princess diet, you know? Just bring it down here. And so I'm like, okay. All right, I'm just going to go without gloves.
I've never really thought of that before. Yeah, that does look very much like a fish.
Like a fish. So I took off my gloves.
I mean, we honestly, in roller derby, we do that when we want to drop off a penalty. We do this, and we call it the fish. We call it the fish.
Yeah. So I took off my gloves, and I asked Kurt, the person who studied to become a marine biologist, do you want to take off your gloves? And Kurt said, no. Which made me really nervous because he was like, because usually Kurt, I'll do anything. Yeah. And Kurt was like, no, I'm not taking the gloves off.
I'm questioning my life decisions right now.
Every single, so I remember this I remember this more clearly than I do remember being under the water.
Yeah.
Of having a conversation with myself. As I'm walking toward this, and you can even see this here. As I'm walking toward it, and I'm like, you're doing this. Mm-hmm. You're not, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from you. You're doing this. You have no choice. I was giving myself the business.
Listen.
And I'm like, you're getting under that water. You don't have a choice. And so I get onto the edge, and I tell the guy with the pink shirt, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have to push me in. You're gonna have to push me in. He says, really? He says, yeah, you're gonna have to push me in. I'm not. Just push me, because I was just. Oh, I've never been more scared in my life.
Yeah,
I really haven't. And that's how I got here. Yeah. And the experience, well, it changed me forever. So there was a line that went around the boat and took us down, and the line was attached to this ship here. So, and you can see a little bit of it there, although we had let go of the line at that point. But it pulled us through the rough seas around the boat, and then we basically pulled down the line to get to the table that they had already set up for us. The other divers had. And I have never experienced in my life, and probably never will again, something as surreal and majestic as this.
Right.
My memories of this don't feel real at all. Like they feel like it must have been a dream, or it must have been something that I've imagined. It was completely alien. It was beautiful on a level I can't explain. So,
Okay, here we go.
I should mention, my wife tells this story to people. When I got back, I said to my wife, so when you heard that we were doing this, where did you picture the sharks? Because I'll tell you where I pictured them.
Okay.
I pictured them behind us, off in the background, like 20 feet away. I did not picture them right over my left shoulder.
Right.
As close to me as you are.
Mm-hmm.
And they were everywhere. Like you couldn't see any place that didn't have sharks, and they were everywhere.
What was on the call sheet? Meals provided.
But like, they're absolutely as close as they look at these things.
And
they were huge.
When we first uploaded this footage, like not long after you did it, like normally, like we do that a lot. Normally I'm just like, all right, I'll look at it. Like I watched all of it because I was blown away by things like that, like how close the sharks are. Because yes, I think in my head it was a similar thing of like, there'll be sharks somewhere. But they were right up on you guys the whole time. Jeez.
Yeah. You know the feeling of when a cat rubs against your leg?
Mm-hmm.
I kept feeling that, and you see right there? Their tail would brush against my leg, and I'd be like, and I'd look behind me, and it's a shark.
Yeah.
And like just right there, rubbing up against me.
So did any of the experts around there tell you why that is? Why they decide to come over? Are they just curious animals?
Yeah, I don't know. I know they're feeding them. I mean, they're feeding them there.
Okay.
So right behind me, you can't see. I think there may be one shot where you can see it, but there is like a chum device that's got like what they're feeding them in it. But yeah, there's the dice floating. That made it real fun. Now I was told under no uncertain terms. Look at that! Like it does look like I'm going to eat them. Nah, I changed my mind.
The battle going.
Well, challenging. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Wants to play.
They told me, do not touch them.
Yeah.
That was like one of the big things. Right on the table. And Kurt's like, get away from here. Kurt's trying to shoo away the shark.
We're playing a game here.
Exactly. But there was one point where there was one particularly big shark that kept coming through there. And you could see him every once in a while, a really big guy. And I'm not going to do this again in my mind, right? And he came right, so close, his fin touched my head. And I was like, I can't. And I just brought up my hand and ran my fingers across its belly when it went by me. And the shark wrangler saw me do it. And I saw him go. And then he went like this. He went, hands down.
Wag of the finger.
Yeah.
Don't give him a fish.
Don't put your hands up. Don't touch a shark. I had to, though. I couldn't leave there and not have touched a shark. And we were down there an hour. We were down there an hour. We finished the first 2 or 3 days, I think, of the game. The plan was to for 2 dives.
Oh.
Now, what you can't see here, so each one of those bobs, and from the angle it's really hard to tell, is about 5 to 6 feet. What you can't see here, and you could see me, you can see me holding. What you can't see here is the struggle to get back on the boat.
Right.
So every time, the ladder you could see kind of moved when it was going down, it would kind of get lateral and it would go vertical when it came back up.
Ladder getting lateral.
Yeah, exactly. And I would grab hold of the ladder to try and like get purchase, and then it would be ripped out of my hands as it would go up like 5 feet. And it was actually kind of scary.
Yeah.
It was the only time where I went from the fear in my brain that was just messing with me to actual fear of like, what if I can't get back up on the boat?
Sure.
And they're like, well, take off your equipment and that'll help. And I'm like, I'm not taking off my equipment. If I take off my equipment, because the waves kept swamping me.
Right.
So I kept getting pulled underwater. And I'm like, I'm afraid I'll drown if I take off my equipment. So I did take off my fins. By the way, not flippers. If you say flippers, they hate it. They're like, flipper is a dolphin. Don't say flippers, it's fins.
Friendly dolphin.
Yeah. But I took off and I finally got one. But as I was trying to do this, when it went like it came crashing down and hit me and threw me back into the water and hit me right here. And I think I showed you a picture of just massive bruising, like all here when it nailed me on my chest. And
it was exhausting, right?
It was exhausting. But I finally got my hands on it as it came down because it was hard because it was going this way as it came down. So it was like a timing thing. So I got my hands on it and was able to hook a foot in. And once I hooked a foot in, I was able to hold on enough to get up. But like I said, we were supposed to do two dives. And the captain, who we really don't see talking on camera much, Captain Steve, he says to us, it's going to get worse.
Oh.
Because the hurricane's getting closer. And it's going to get much choppier. And, Charlie, our sound guy, had thrown up 5 times. The folks from
Chip
Theory, I think had not thrown up, but were looking blue. Like and I think the consensus was, please don't have a second dive.
Sure. Yeah,
and I was worried about getting too exhausted to get it back up on the boat the second time if it was too choppy. And so, because part of me did want to go back, but another part of me is like, I just don't know. I think that'd be foolhardy. So we didn't do it.
Honestly, it wasn't necessary.
Well, the idea was to finish the game.
Sure.
Right?
But
we wanted to have a complete game of Too Many Bones.
Not necessary.
Right. But, you know me. I wanted to.
You can finish that in the hotel room.
Exactly. Yeah. I wanted to beat Kurt,
That was amazing, but very tough to get back on the boat.
It's a cooperative game. I couldn't beat Kurt.
There you go.
Yep, there.
It's time to do it.
There's the third time. Feeding the fishes.
Putting some chum in the water.
Yeah.
So we were able to successfully navigate the combat.
That's incredible, dude.
It was a lot of work. The dice are basically usually buoyant.
What do you think all these professionals thought of this whole thing? Like, you guys are showing up in the Bahamas to play a board game at the bottom of the ocean.
Back on the boat.
I don't know. I mean, they thought it was a fun idea.
Well, I'm sure it's fun to them because it's different than every other tourist that they get stuck on a boat with that is just doing the same stuff over and over again. So, yes, I would think that the variant is fun for them.
Yeah.
But also, do you think they were like, these guys are nuts?
Probably. I'm sure, Yeah. I mean, it was really interesting of like, they were super nice. Like, but I'm sure they thought we were crazy.
Like when they went home to their spouses that night, they're like, you would not
believe what we did today. And what you can't tell there is that, so after I said, okay, let's get home, and everybody's like, yeah, let's just get to port as quickly as possible.
A big, huge sigh of relief, everybody.
Well, no, it took another hour and a half because we had to retrieve everything.
Oh, because the game's down there.
So they had to go and retrieve, and the seas were so bad that at one point, because I think they had to let go of the mooring because they were having issues.
Oh.
So the boat was starting to float free, and one of the main divers, I believe the shark wrangler, kind of got caught off the boat.
Oh no!
And we drifted too far away from him to get, and so they had to like very carefully and very gently get the boat back to him and not like potentially, harm him or something to get back to him because the boat had started to drift away. I mean, it was a whole thing just to try and get all the everything back onto the boat and, leave it pristine. But it took a long time just to get to the point where we could start heading back. So just because the conditions were so, and, the sad thing is they were telling me, another day, this would have been crystal calm. Like it would have been, normally they would have had everybody else in the boat that wasn't doing that dive snorkeling around. And like there were sea turtles and stuff that you could watch and interact with. But we weren't doing any of that. It wasn't those kind of conditions, it was just
We
rough.
definitely played the game, which is what we were here to do. Yeah. How was your night here on the boat?
Poor Shay. And again, what you don't get the idea of. So our cameraman has what's called a slide cam.
Yeah.
And a slide cam is like a steady cam. It's designed to make it look like there's no movement.
It automatically adjusts.
So it automatically adjusts. So when you see these big movements still in the camera, that's with the slide cam making those automatic adjustments. So it was so much worse than it looks. Which is good because I think you'd get sick watching it.
Probably.
That was one of our worries, was that you'd get sick watching the video when we were on the boat.
So I get up to the top, and it's rough. It's rough up at the top. I'm like, oh man, how am I going to get here? And all of a sudden, this guy just grabs me by the back and Aquaman's my ass all the way around the top.
That's Jorge, who was my safety diver. I don't understand how Jorge did what he did when we were there, because I wasn't kidding there. Like when I got back up to the top, see, the safety line only goes one way. So the safety line couldn't take me back to where I needed to get back up on the boat. So I had to make my way there. And the waves were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I was paddling as hard as my fat little legs will take me, and I was making no progress. And all of a sudden, Jorge grabs hold of my equipment and just motors me around the boat. And I'm like, what on earth? How is he doing this?
He's a little jet ski.
Oh my God. I could not believe the power in that guy. Amazing.
And I wasn't doing anything. I just went limp, just around the boat. What you want to do? You guys did a great job. Thank you so much.
Felt like a dainty little flower in Jorge's arms.
Stewart Cove Dive Bahamas. These guys will take care of you. They're amazing, and what an experience.
Can I say how relaxed I was at that moment?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because I know I didn't have to get equipment on. I didn't have to get back in. It was done. It was in the can one way or another. And I knew that if the footage was as good as like what it looked like from me down there, that we had something. Right. So
we actually did it. We played Too Many Bones, Unbreakable from.
You're gonna watch me here. If you watch closely, I'm gonna get emotional. Because Kurt, this was the last thing Kurt shot with us before he left us. And Kurt's one of my best friends. And I get very verklempt here.
Ship Theory Games, underwater, wild diving with sharks. And
incredible.
A lot of sharks, I should mention. Look, this was an amazing experience for me, but there are tons of people that I never could have done this without. Just name a few. Hal, my dive instructor from Hollywood Divers. Mark, my dive master. I love you. Andrea, who was the shark wrangler on the boat underwater, making sure that we were safe. Jorge, my safety diver, who pulled me like Aquaman to safety when I reached the top and was so tired.
And Renee, my safety diver, who was equally impressive.
And everybody from above board, but especially this guy here. Kurt organized this entire thing. It wouldn't have been possible without him.
Choking up.
I would have quit like 5 times if Kurt hadn't been there and saying, I got you, you're in safe hands. This is his last video with us for a while. He's been here from the beginning. I love him. From the Bahamas, here at Breezes. We'd like to thank everybody here for hosting us. That's it. Click, subscribe, ring that bell. That stuff is all really important to us. Until next time, I don't think I'll ever have to do this again. So, Probably won't do a lot of shark diving after this. Oh my God, that was scary. Okay. Oh, I can sleep again.
Yeah, man. Oh, and this. Oh, did I start from the beginning?
Yeah, you started.
There was just a little thing at the end that said that I continued my weight loss journey and that I went on every extreme video since.
Yeah,
which is the case.
I mean, I told you this in person, but I'm so proud of you for what you accomplished there. That's why it is one of my favorite videos that we've done.
Oh, thank you.
Because it wasn't just important to the show; like it was important for you as a person to be able to do this. And I'm surprised at how good it turned out, considering everything that every hurdle that came our way as we.
Yeah, me too. There were so many times I just thought it wasn't going to happen. I'm very happy I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I didn't know when I started how hard it would be because I don't know that I would have.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why I don't think this is going to happen on the channel, so don't freak out. But when you pitched to me running with the bulls while playing a board game, I went.
You considered it.
I considered it. I considered it because I'm like, well, how long do I have? I could probably lose another 40 pounds. I could be on the treadmill every day, and extend the amount of time I do. Maybe I could get to the point where I could do that. It was only until we started to watch videos of people being gored that we're like, oh boy, those are people who are in pretty good shape getting gored and
trampled.
And then Alex, our producer's like, I don't think that we can get insurance on you doing that. I'm like, oh man, but like it has opened up what I think I'm capable of.
Sure,
has changed pretty radically.
Yeah. And all that means is that you can all expect more fun videos from us because this is the stuff we like to do.
So thank you for joining us for our first retrospective on
1 of 8
on our videos in days past. For our first year as a YouTube channel.
And stick around for more. So subscribe, all that stuff. Because if you haven't done that yet, why not?
Yeah.
We do crazy things.
And it means the world to us to build this subscriber base so that we can keep bringing this kind of content for you.
Yeah, spread the word.
Yeah.
We're having fun. You're having fun. Tell everybody.
We want to keep doing this for another year.
Yeah, sure. At least.
All right, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.